Hey, what's up, man? My name's Edgard, and today I'm gonna talk about which legendary cards are the best for Makoa at the moment of patch 44 and with which decks I would personally combine them. I won't talk about the Alleviation card because I personally don't like that card. It just gives you 1500 health, and yeah, that's it. I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't really change Makoa's playstyle too much, and it's boring and kinda useless at the same time. Let's start off with the half shell legendary card, which is personally my favorite, and I'm also using that legendary card in the video you're seeing right now. The card half shell says Shell Shield is now placed on the ground and is not channeled. So that means you can, it's like Winston's shield from Overwatch, you just put it on the ground and you can walk around. And the good thing about this card is, if you look at my Q cooldown, is that the cooldown starts channeling the moment you place your shield. If you wouldn't have the card and you would use your Q, you would move around and the cooldown wouldn't go down. Like, the cooldown would just start running down the moment you're finished channeling your shield. And with this playstyle, you can actually put your shield down, and it's like the moment you put your shield down, the cooldown's already running down, and yeah, that's a big advantage to this card. And let me show you the loadout I use to this deck, to this legendary card. So the most important card of this deck is Barrier Reef 4, and that makes that for every 3000 damage absorbed, reduce the cooldown of Shell Shield by 4 seconds, and your shield has 6000 health, so that means if they destroy your shield, like the cooldown of your shield is reduced by 8 seconds. That means your shield is on an 8-second cooldown, and let's say, for example, like if you get the maximum value out of it, your shield stands there for 6 seconds, you will have a total cooldown of 2 seconds on your shield, and you can turn that down with Chronos even more, and that makes, like, just with that card, you can basically have infinite shields on the point all the time if you just don't die, and if they destroy your shield. And you will see the Torvald in the video destroying my shield all the time, and I'll just put another one back up, and yeah, not even Torvald can do a lot against it. The second card I take is Ancient Resolve, and that increases the duration of my Shell Shield by 2 seconds. I really like this card because, well, the longer your shield stands, the better actually. And they might destroy it pretty quick, but if they don't, like, if they're smart and they won't attack your shield all the time and focus on other things, you will get a lot of value out of this card. And a lot of the times people don't expect the extra 2 seconds on the shield and will already start firing, or like a Victor grenade will throw your grenade to time the cooldown of, like, when your shield goes down, and it will just stand 2 seconds longer there, so they won't expect that coming. And yeah, those are the two most important cards in my opinion. Then I go for Tidal Grace. It just heals me for 100 per second while my shield is up. But I like to go for the shield duration. If you say, no, I need more sustain, like, take some points out of the shield duration and put some points in there. But yeah, other than that, Salvage is a really good card which I would take. Like, Salvage 1 is a card I would take with every Makoa deck because it guarantees that you have one ammo always. Like, you always have one ammo when you hook a target. And Shells, like Springtide, is just a good card overall, which can give you a lot of value even on level 1. Now let's talk about Makoa's hook card, or other legendary card, for the Dredge Anchor named Pluck. Most people like this card more than Half Shell. I think it's because Makoa used to be OP in OB43, and they basically removed the bonus damage of the hook and they gave it as a legendary card, and they put even more bonus damage. And it's a really strong card overall, not gonna lie. So what it does is gain 80% bonus damage on your first shot after hitting an enemy with Dredge Anchor. Now, this card is really useful when you're playing against flankers. Like, flankers will just go into the back line and they will actually ignore your shield. So if I play against a lot of flankers, I just take this card, because when you hook them, like, it's not easy to hook all the flankers, but if you hit a hook, well, they are, first of all, they're stunned, and the next shot will almost one-shot them. It will do like 1200 damage, and most of the times it's an easy follow-up for your team. And yeah, with the hook build you don't have that much survivability as with the shells card, but you have a lot of, like, you can finish targets off much easier, and you can really dish out a lot of damage. That's why this card actually is really powerful too. Now, the card that most Makoa players run in their decks or loadouts is Spring Tide 4, and that just gives you 1000 HP if you roll into an enemy, and that's deck. So if you hit 5 enemies with your shell spin, you will heal for 5000 damage. That's why this card is so good if you have multiple targets. And yeah, if you play the hook build, the most important cards which you actually really need to take is Strongarm 4, that just reduces the cooldown of your Dredge Anchor by 2 seconds, so you can hook a little bit more often. Can be really useful since you tune it down from a... Since you tune it down from a 9-second cooldown to a 7-second cooldown. And then the next card, which is really important in my opinion, is the Salvage card. Now, as I said before, you can take Salvage 1, but I really like Salvage 2 in this deck. But 1 is also enough. 2 just makes you reload even less. But yeah, sometimes when you have 4 ammo and you shoot, then hook, then you won't get the second ammo extra value out of it. But most of the times you get 2 ammo, and it can be really, really useful. Now, the last 2 cards are just cards to fill up the deck, because we already have the most important cards, and since I have the Spring Tide deck, I go for a little bit more shell spin power. That means your cooldown is reduced if it hits an enemy by 1 second, and the distance is increased by 10%. And well, you can replace these cards for other cards you want to take into your loadout, but those are really decent cards overall. So those are my playstyles, how I play Makoa, and yeah, it's really depending on your team, but generally I think the Shell Shield is the best card, but the opinions are really split on that, and you can really test them out yourselves. The Shell Shield is a lot of fun, and yeah, I will just leave the video or the gameplay go on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the gameplay, and let a comment down below what champion, which legendary reviews of which champions you want to see next, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.
Shoot at me! 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
Attackers on my trail.
3, 2, 1. Stitch me up! Overtime!
It's not my
Double time! Yup.
I have so much left to learn.
Shoot at me! How kind of you! Have a nice trip! Stitch me up! Not at all! Shoot at me!
So much left to learn.
Overtime!